Well, hello to everybody. Here it's Teresa Sanderson with another episode of Dare to Do Nursing Differently. And I'm so excited to connect with you. I always am when I hit these podcasts, but our guest today is somebody that I've interviewed before, and you might remember Quisha Umemba. She has stepped out in entrepreneurship as a public health entrepreneur and has worked in that space for several years now, very successfully. And within the last year, she has pivoted her business to working more with AI and learning innovation. So today we're going to talk about this intersection of public health meeting learning innovation, also nursing meeting artificial intelligence, all of these things. Welcome, Quisha, to the show.
Oh, it's always wonderful to speak with you. Thank you for having me again. I'm so glad you added that little disclaimer there, because I was just thinking, like, if they listen to the first one, they're going to be like, this girl is all over the place. But I promise you, everything I do is purposeful and with intention. And so I am super excited to be talking about how I have, I could call it a pivot, but because I still do all of the same other things, it's really more of a reimagining and how I've rebuilt in spite of this horrible year we've had for public health. So super excited to be here and share with your listeners how we're incorporating AI in our day-to-day business practices.
I love it. And so, you mentioned, how you did this pivot in the last year. And I think that's just a great place to start, because I think when nurses step into entrepreneurship, number one, they tend to think what I start out with is what I will always be doing. I know that was true for me. And, within the last year, the climate changed for you with what you were doing in public health. All of a sudden, grant monies weren't available, and all the kind of things that really had been kind of the core services of your business at that time. So what made you decide to pivot, and how did you manage to get that done?
I love that. Even though a lot of funding was rescinded, in public health, there's a saying that most of us have learned to live by as we work in public health and work on different public health programs and initiatives, and that's follow the funding. And so regardless of who is in office, as administrations change, their priorities will also change. And so this administration didn't have the priorities that matched the priorities of the clients that I was serving. But they do prioritize artificial intelligence and tech and big tech. And so, I took the first few months to be depressed. I think about 90% of my clients losing their funding. I remember I average about 3 projects a quarter. So about 12 projects and clients a year is our average for the last 3 years.
Okay.
And so in May, I'd had 1 contract all year. And I was like, oh. Now, on the flip side, I was also very much pregnant. So it's like the best time to ever be slow and not have much business. Yeah. But in looking toward the future, and I always like to stay on top of trends, I really have to go back to my roots and what I was taught in public health, and that is follow the funding. And so when I heard about the AI action plan that it came out, and I'm kind of moving fast, I did see this trend 2 years ago. So I started an AI consultant certification, but I just was kind of, running my business and doing the modules a little bit here and a little bit there, and didn't really take it that serious. And then when I saw America's AI action plan and all the organizations that signed the action plan into place, I kind of looked at my business and said, maybe I should really look and see how I can incorporate this with what I'm already doing with training and workforce development. Yeah. And I was on my baby moon with my 2 best friends. We were in a hotel in Dallas, here in Dallas, and I was watching the morning news, and there was a politician, I don't know who, that was on the television, and he said, by the year 2030, we want all small business owners to have AI literacy training. And I literally looked at my friends, because I have been telling them about this idea. I don't know how I want to incorporate it, but I want to incorporate AI. And I looked at my friends and said, pass me my phone, pass me my phone, pass me my phone. And so I keep everything in my notes app in my iPhone. And I just literally wrote down AI literacy for small business owners, AI literacy for entrepreneurs, AI literacy for educators, AI literacy for nonprofit. And I kept going, and I was like, everybody is going to need freaking AI literacy training. And that day is when I decided I was going to become an AI literacy expert. Boom. And I went into ChatGPT and I said, I want Umemba Health to be known as the AI literacy training, the premier organization for AI literacy training. Mm-hmm. Give me a 5-year plan to help me become known as the go-to in this space. And I'm currently working in year 1 right now, which is building visibility and thought leadership, which is why we're doing the AI literacy campaign and some of the other things that we're doing. Yeah, that's how I got started.
Love it. Love it. You said one key thing there that I want our listeners and viewers to key in on, and that's when I decided that I was going to do this. You didn't say, that's when I decided I was going to give it a try, or that's when I thought it might be the way I was going to go. Everything in business, I believe, begins with a decision. Yes. And then we make that decision every day. Right?
Every day.
Every day.
It has to work or it has to work. No, that's what I live by. No, seriously, go big or go home. That's one, but it has to work or it has to work. Once you get that in your head, there, even if you quote unquote fail, you start looking at every failure as a win, is as a learning opportunity. Yes. So absolutely, I had decided it has to work. So, and it's working.
I think that's awesome. And congratulations on your success. I mean, for those of us on the outside, even, somebody like me who knows you pretty closely, it's been very smooth from my end of the business.
From your end.
I'm sure that,
no, I think it has been smooth. It's still low. It's still very slow adoption.
Yeah.
And low uptake, which as someone that's normally not an early adopter, I'm normally not. I mean, I'm the person it took me 10 years to get an Apple product, right? So there's still very much, I know it happens in public health. I was very interested when you said before we started that it's happening in nursing, because I've seen so many examples of where nurses are innovating AI tools to create custom chatbots and other types of programs that can make service delivery and patient care better. But so don't get me wrong. It's not like people are knocking down my door right now, right? But I think because of the visibility, because I have stepped out as a thought leader in the space, because I do it scared, right? And I don't have to have all the answers, and that's fine. I am starting to see where people are starting to recognize I am one of the go-tos. And so I'm asked to speak for, will you come and speak at this conference? Would you sponsor this conference? Would you, contribute to this or contribute to that or come and train our staff? And so, but then I just celebrated year 6 too. So this isn't new. I've kind of used all of those lessons learned, for lack of a better word. And I know now how to launch something when I've set my mind to it.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh, I just love this. And so going back, to the theme of the podcast, our podcast name is Dare to Do Nursing Differently. And, how do you see the work that you're doing as it applies to healthcare as being, how does that equate to the idea of Dare to Do Nursing Differently?
I love it because people don't quite know what to make of me. I had someone tell me a couple of months ago, I was doing a consultation. He said, how did you go from nursing to public health to entrepreneurship, and now you're in tech? And I was like, oh, am I in tech? Oh, I'm a girl in tech. I'm in the tech space. I would say it's nursing at the core, because everything that I learned in my business, I think I'm using as a nurse, that skill set has carried over. Nurses at our core were innovative. There are so many times where I didn't have the tools, the supplies, the equipment that I needed, the resources that I needed, that I had to come up with something on the spot, that I had to tap into somebody, that the resilience, the grit, the dead dog tired, and now I'm on my 5th 12-hour shift because Christmas is around the corner and I got to, either going on vacation and got to make some money. Like I say, nobody works harder than nurses. Nobody has the critical thinking skills that nurses have. A lot of people, since we're talking about AI, are talking about how they're worried that people will lose their critical thinking skills. And there is some truth in that. There is some knowledge decay that could happen as a result of that. But nurses are the only profession I know that were actually taught critical thinking skills, right? And so, and now I've rambled so much, I forgot your original question, Teresa.
How does it equate to dare to do nursing differently? What you're doing?
But it equates to doing nursing differently because my patient, when I left nursing and went to public health, my patient became zip codes, and now my patient is my community, and my community is whatever workforce I'm serving at that time. And so they are now my new patient. So I took a lot of those same skills and, same tactics and strategies and everything that I learned, and I just package it up, and my patient looks different, but I'm still making a diagnosis. I'm still implementing. I'm still evaluating whatever I'm doing. Yeah. So I think that's how it equates to doing nursing differently.
Oh, that's such a great answer. And I agree. Here's an interesting aside, though, just for you and me. I attended a conference last year in Nashville, and it was a very techie kind of conference, and there were so many tools designed with AI for nurses and for healthcare. And for all the ones for nurses, me and a couple of others went around and said, how many nurses do you have on your design team?
Not a one.
Not a one.
Not a one.
Not a one. Yeah. And this is where we come up with these EMRs that don't work for nurses. Yep. They're not designed for us. And so this is why, and I love what you said earlier, this is why nurses are innovators.
Yes.
Find a way to do it quicker. We are the original MacGyvers. Right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
AI is our new straw.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
So I love that. So tell me, innovating takes courage, pivoting takes courage. What kind of emotions did you wrestle with during the time that you were shifting gears?
I think the biggest emotion or the biggest question I said is my audience going to understand this? My email to this day, and I announced our pivot, I think back in July, and we're in December now. And at the bottom of our email, I put, if this content no longer applies to you, you can unsubscribe. It's something like that, right? Yeah. Because there was immediate knee-jerk reaction when I started talking about AI literacy and AI for community health workers and AI for public health professionals and things like that. Yeah. Even so much, I had someone send me an email and said, I met with you last year about licensing your CHW curriculum. And since CHWs is no longer a priority of yours and you've made the strategic pivot to artificial intelligence, I'd like to know if I can license your curriculum at a discounted rate.
Oh my God.
Like, just tell me what I do. And so let me stop there. So I had to reply back and say, it seems like AI is our only thing we do because we're in the middle of a 12-week AI literacy campaign. However, CHW capacity building is still very much our number one requested service. And I can offer a 10% discount on our curriculum. Would you like to schedule a call? And so I did meet with a branding consultant because I did initially find that there was a disconnect. If you look at the business name, it's Umemba Health, right? And so if you look at Umemba Health, that doesn't give you any indication that it's anything related to AI. It just seems like it's very health focused. So I would say the biggest, it's not really an emotion, but the biggest issue I had was revamping that messaging, bringing our followers, bringing our community along to say, we still do learning design and course creation. We still do training and workforce development. We still certify community health workers. We just incorporated AI. Guess what? We've been using AI for the last 2 years. Yeah. All these courses and workshops and trainings you've been seeing, I've been using AI behind the scenes to do that. I'm vocal about it now and saying, not only do we have AI-powered curriculum, but now I'm teaching you how to develop with AI. Now I'm teaching you how to improve service delivery or improve workflow automation or whatever it is with AI. And it's not just me, my AI colleagues that are doing the same things. They have some of the same issues. People don't understand that AI can be used personally. It can be used for business. It can be used in healthcare. It can be used in, finance. And so that has been the biggest struggle, but I will say it's finally, and it's taken a good solid 3 months. We're in week 11 this week of our AI literacy campaign. And people are finally being able to understand, like, oh, okay, so this is what she means by AI and public health, so that's been the biggest challenge.
I love it. And I think anymore, the companies, small businesses, large businesses of today, if we're not utilizing AI, we are just losing traction every day, right?
Every day. You're losing your competitive advantage every single day. Absolutely.
Yes. And I think oh my gosh, we could probably talk about it all day. Tell me about, what are your thoughts on, because as we discussed briefly earlier, many nurses are afraid of AI. They're afraid that AI is going to somehow replace them. They talked about the AI nurse. I think that was a term not long ago. There are robots now working in a lot of scenarios in healthcare as assistant type devices to nurses. But what would you say to the clinical nurse of today who's fearful of AI?
Oh, well, some people may not like me after this. No. So I will say, so there's a couple of things. A good friend of mine says, if you think AI is going to replace your job, it probably should, first of all. And that hurts. I said the same when I said, ooh, it just stepped on some people's feet, right? It probably should. 2, AI is not going to replace you, but the person next to you using AI, they may replace you. Okay. Powerful. And 3rd, I am actually one of those people that help people create nursing type resources that help replace the work that they do, which is the goal of AI. It is not to replace you. It is instead meant to replace a lot of the work that you do. So I'll give you a couple of examples. I'm working with one client who is a healthcare compliance and risk compliance accreditation type of thing. And so I'm helping her because I've created a suite of 6 chatbots. I call them my AI powered advisors. They do a number of different things across the learning design. So we've got the curriculum architect, the training impact evaluator. I've got the learning engagement designer. I've got the training needs navigator. And we've got the accessibility and inclusion designer. And then finally, the curriculum licensing strategist. Each chatbot does something different across the continuum. So when she saw that, she said, Quisha, I want to create chatbots that help free up some of the work that I'm doing with my organizations. She created 3. She named them after her 3 kids. And so one of them is Caleb, the compliance chatbot, who works with organizations to help them get into compliance to prepare for whatever they need to prepare for. So she does that based on, I think, risk compliance and accreditation or something like that. Another nurse came to me and said, I do care management. I'm really at capacity for the number of organizations that I can serve. And if you know anything about care management, there's 8 chronic conditions that you manage. And she said, I have this idea to create like care navigator bots, and I know what it looks like, but I'm not really sure how to implement it. So I work with her and we created the first, the diabetes care navigator bot, which is not intended to replace the nurse. It is intended to just assist the nursing staff or the nursing team, whether it's CHW, medical assistant, LPN, RN, whatever, and providing education to the client and doing the intake and giving them workflows on when they should follow up and touch base and a number of other things. And of course, we've got all of the risk scenarios that we've baked into the brain of the GPT. So, make sure that we're telling them it has to be de-identified information and it's not intended for medical use and everything that they need to say to the client, but everything from the scripts to the education to a number of different things. So there's so much that you can do with it. And again, I'll just say it's not designed to replace you. It's actually one of the things I like to say with my organizations, AI helps you reduce your busy work so you can spend more time on people work. And that is the beauty of it and why we do want to incorporate it and get comfortable and build that confidence using AI.
Wonderful answer. And I have to say, just in the implementations that I've made using AI in my own business, it supports me in amplifying
Yes.
my business
Yeah.
and my impact.
Yeah.
How many lives I'm able to touch if I'm not stuck trying to figure this one thing out.
Yeah.
Just the brainstorming that happens with an AI GPT,
the thought
or GPT
partnership.
or something,
Yes.
right? Just chatting back and forth. What does this mean? What does that mean? Save me the time. Give me ideas on how I can do this. And so I just love that. But you are, you're leaps and bounds ahead of me, but I am grateful to be on the learning curve, man.
Yeah, no. If you can just find what works for you to save you an hour a day, like that's a really great start. So
that's an excellent goal too. Simple, actionable.
Simple action. It's what I call a quick win. When I do my talks, I'm like, okay, here's 3 quick wins. Start with one. If it saves you time, keep it going. Add another tool, next. But I think sometimes people get overwhelmed because, let's just be honest, there's a new tool coming out every day. There's constant upgrades to the tools that are out. There's a lot of noise. I personally told myself the middle of November, and I told my colleagues and all my AI circle, I'm not learning another damn AI tool for 2025. I'm not adding another to my budget. So I have my AI tech stack. I have it listed. I have how much I pay per month or annually, whatever it is. And I felt like I got to this point where I couldn't put anything else in my brain. And I know I needed to have that capacity to do 2026 planning, which we're doing right now. And I think, so I say that to say, if you're trying to keep up with the latest trends, if you already struggle with shiny object syndrome, and you're trying to go from, this AI tool and this platform and this software, it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be a struggle. Stick with one, pilot it, get really good at that, optimize it. And I'll give you one example. Most of the tools we're already using have an AI component in it. Figure out how to use the AI component inside of the tools and platforms that you're already using is a really great way to start small.
Amazing. So I want to just ask this question. So, as you think about 2026, and you mentioned, you're in your planning and getting prepared for this upcoming year, what do you envision for the direction for Umemba Health and where you are going with learning innovation?
Love it. So we have created an entire learning ecosystem. So you see behind me, it says Mission Ready AI. Mission Ready AI started off as a curriculum, but it is a curriculum, it is services, and it is resources. So we did market research. So I was on bed rest the last trimester of my pregnancy. And one of the things that I could do is I could get on the phone and I could interview people. And so I interviewed several, friends, family, colleagues of my 10,000 small businesses, Goldman Sachs program. And I kept hearing some of the same things. I don't know how to use it. I bought a course and it was all theory. I need hands-on demonstrations. I talked to people that were in college. Yeah, they told us at the school we can use it, but nobody showed us that. Or organizations. Yeah, we've got Copilot at work. Our whole business runs off Microsoft. They said we can use it, but nobody shows them how to use it. Right. So we saw these themes from doing the interviews when we conducted the market research. And I said, okay, people need hands-on tools. We're going to build AI skills labs. People need the strategy behind how to incorporate these in their business or organization. We're going to build AI strategy labs. People need one-on-one help. That was a big one. People need one-on-one assistance. Guess what? I've got office hours for everything else. Now we have AI office hours, right? So we have our Mission Ready AI curriculum, which is 8 to 10 modules of content that go over everything from prompt engineering to ethics and responsible use, and all of those things that, especially in healthcare and public health organizations, need to know and understand. But then we have AI skills labs and AI strategy labs and AI office hours, and we've got downloadable resources and tools and different things like that. So again, it's designed to be a robust learning ecosystem, and I'm really, really excited about it because there's nothing that's out there like it.
That's amazing! Oh my gosh! And I hear in your message there, though, that through the market research, here's what happens. Business is simple. Find a need and fill it. Through your market research, you found the need and you filled it.
Yeah.
It's simple. And this is a step, though, that so many entrepreneurs skip over is that market research. I've got this great idea, this thing I want to do. When you don't research it to see if there's a need, you can end up creating something that nobody's going to buy.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Yeah.
Same. There was a girl, but but yeah, so I just love it. It's very systematic. It's very methodical. And to the people who say, oh, it just looks so easy. You go online and you make a few videos and you make money and you grow this massive business. There's so much strategy behind the scenes.
Yes.
That you don't know.
Yeah. You mentioned the word pivot earlier. And so in the end of May, when I decided to do this, and I remember sending out an email for my coaching services and things and saying, hey, I'm not going to be coaching for the rest of the year. And people didn't know, like, I had all of that in my mind it wasn't just because I was going to have a baby, but it's because I knew I was transitioning to these new services. And I told myself, when I do this, and I hate to call it pivot because it's in addition to what I'm already doing, right?
Yeah.
But I said, when I create this new line, it's a new service line, I'm going to do it like I wish I would have did my business in year one, knowing everything now after learning everything that I've learned from being in business 6 years. Yeah. And I think that has made the implementation so much smoother. Yes.
That is amazing. Amazing. I love that. And as I've said before, I think I could talk to you all day. We're going to have to wind it up for today. I do want to congratulate you on the birth of your beautiful little boy, Adair. He is just so gorgeous. If you haven't followed Quisha on social media, you need to check out her page. If nothing else, just to see this beautiful baby.
He is. Don't get me started. He's my miracle baby, and he is the joy of my life. Yeah, all my kids are, but he's super sweet.
Yeah, love that. Love that. So before we wind up today, Quisha, please take a minute or two and share with our audience, how can they connect with you outside of this interview? How can they learn more about what it is you do and find you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So visit our website, umembahealth.com. You can see how it's spelled below under my name there. We also have Umemba Health Academy, which is our virtual campus where we house our online courses. You can follow me at Quisha Umemba on all social media platforms, or you can follow at Umemba Health on all social media platforms, or most, I shouldn't say all. We're not on X, Threads, but the rest of them, we're pretty much on the rest of them. But please, and let me know that you heard me on the Dare to Do Nursing podcast.
Love that. Love that. All right, everybody, we're going to wind up this session for today, but I hope you've enjoyed this peek behind the scenes into the world of AI and all that it can do for you from this point forward. Yes. Again, it's not anything to be feared. It's something to learn and to utilize to save yourself time, energy, and decision fatigue, among just a few things.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, Quisha, thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure as always. And to everybody who's listening and watching, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode of Dare to Do Nursing Differently. Bye for now.